What's going on, brothers? What is going on? Here's your dude, IP International Passport, here again for a future classic live stream. Uh, First and foremost, though, how is my audio? Mayday, Mayday, check 1 2, check 1 2, type one in the chat. We're live right now, K62. Is my audio good?
Oh, that's good for me.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Who else is here in the building, man? Who else is here with us? Um, we only got 5 people watching. We're streaming on Twitch, Kick, Rumble, Facebook. Who's here? Type on one in the live stream chat. So while I wait for people to let me know if they can hear me, brothers, so special announcements. Okay. First and foremost, we are 1 month away from the AWS conference, okay, in Miami, Florida with Theo Wath. All right. If you are interested in IT, if you are interested in freedom, if you're interested in getting into a new career and being amongst like-minded brothers and going to Miami and networking, book your ticket to the conference, okay? And I'll be posting a link in the comment section after the stream. As you also know, I'll be teaching Python again, Q4 2025, alongside Phil's AWS course. Python, AWS together is what you need, okay? And look out for that as well in the comment section after the stream. So, throughout tonight, please like the video, please support. We are in for an absolute gem, and of course, we will have an after party show on Rumble where I'll react to some content, perhaps with K62 if he wants to react with me, etc. etc. Okay, so Mr. K62, how you doing, brother? You good?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on here.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. So before we break down Taipei, Taiwan, okay, can you give us a brief intro as to who you are, where you're from, and anything interesting about you, bro?
It's my third or fourth time being on here. Uh,
Mm.
I consider myself a citizen of the world. Of course, I'm American by birth, uh, ethnically Dominican, but I've traveled around quite a bit. My father was in the military. I was in the military. Currently work for the United States government. I got a few more years left till I can retire. I'm 43 years old. Love to travel the world. This was my 49th country. So it was really cool to go someplace I hadn't been before. And everything worked out great for me. I had a great time out there, met some good people. And yeah, that's pretty much the rundown on me.
Wow, amazing, brother. But can I ask you, right, when you say you're a few years away from retirement, are you saying that you joined the military at 18, and you're going to retire at 48 because that's a 20-year service that goes in America?
Well, I joined the military. I was only in for 4 years. I did 4 years in the Marine Corps back in the early 2000s. I got out and went to school, got myself a federal job. And then I've already got 20 years of federal service, but I'm going to stick it out until I'm 50. So when I turn 50, I'm gonna hang it up and I'm gonna retire, not retire and go work another job. I'm gonna be done with working.
Awesome. Congrats, brother. Awesome. Great job, brother.
Appreciate
Great
it.
job. So, brother, let's get straight into it. Okay. We don't normally have a lot of streams about Taipei, Taiwan. So I'm super interested here as to your experience there as a brother dating women. It's going to be a classic stream. So, but I want to ask you first and foremost, brother, right? Why go to Why go to Taiwan in the first place? What was the reason? So,
Because I've never been. Uh,
mm,
I've been picking a new continent every year. So I just kind of basically threw a dart at the board and hit Taiwan. And I was like, I'm gonna go there. I looked at a couple of cities and I was like, all right, Taipei is gonna be the easiest one to get to. So that's where I'm going.
awesome, awesome, brother, fantastic. So now, brother, you were only in Taipei, right?
I went to Taipei and another city called Kaohsiung.
Okay, awesome. This it's gonna be great. So, brother, I'm itching to ask you about dating, but I'm gonna save the best to the just in the middle or last, right?
All
Because
right.
I don't know much about Taipei, Taiwan, but I'm gonna ask you, brother, right? So when it came to like let's say cost of living there in Taipei, Taiwan, is it expensive compared to America? Is it cheap? Break it down for me, bro.
I say it's fairly cheap. There's going to be some things on the high end, some things on the low end. I want to say one Taiwanese dollar. I'm sorry, one American dollar was about 27 Taiwanese dollars, And just kind of put it in perspective, like your average meal, just going and getting yourself like a drink, a main course, and a side dish was probably about 200 Taiwanese dollars, 200, 300, depends on where you were. And one of the things, etiquette wise that I messed up on was in their culture, it's kind of considered like rude to tip. So if there is a place where they want to tip, there'll be a service charge on the bill. And that is, that's them asking for their tip. Anything other than that is kind of offensive to leave a tip. So, I learned that lesson as I went on. So I apologize to anybody out there that I offended. I did not know it was just cultural ignorance.
So, bro, there's no tipping culture in Taiwan.
No,
Awesome. And if they do want you to tip, it'll be in the service charge. Can you decline not to tip, or if it's in the receipt, do you have to actually tip them?
with the language barrier that I had there, I was just gonna go ahead and pay it. I mean, it's never much. It was generally less than I would have tipped anyway.
Mm.
I'm sure you could decline it, but it is one of those things where etiquette wise, being a foreigner, being a guest in their country, it's not going to hurt you to tip. It's not going to hurt you to pay the service charge. So I would recommend that you do it. I'm sure that if you asked about it, they would take it off.
Okay. Now, brother, accommodation wise, right, across Taipei and Taichung, where were you staying? Was it Airbnb? Was it hotel? And how much were you paying a day?
So I stayed in Marriott hotels, one four
Woo!
star, one 5 star. Um, I used a lot of points for most of my stay. There's one area where I stayed there for when I went to Kaohsiung. They didn't understand when I was trying to use my points to begin with. So I was there for 4 days and it came out to 875 American dollars.
Oh, okay, interesting. That wasn't
That was
Taichung.
Yeah, that was in Kaohsiung, Kaohsiung. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but yeah, and that's a 5 star hotel that I was staying at, and I only paid $875 for like 4 nights.
Oh
So
wow, flipping heck.
yeah, and that was with breakfast included and uh, an upgrade on the room as well.
Oh, what about in Taipei?
Taipei, I stayed in a 4 star hotel, another Marriott. I used all points for that one. I don't even know, and it wasn't even too many points really. I think they might have docked me for like maybe 2,000 points, and just like in my point balance, I'm like over 350,000 points, so I didn't even feel that.
Oh, so brother, so you paid with the hotel of your points.
Yes.
That's awesome. But can I ask you what credit card do you have, brother? And for you to be able to accumulate that much points and use it
So,
for travel.
so it's not on a credit card. I'm a Marriott Bonvoy member. So every time I travel, I stay in a Marriott hotel. And it accumulates over time. Like I've been a gold member since like 2011, and I've got like 380 something nights stayed in Marriott hotels. So I've accumulated quite a few points over the years. So it does not take much for me to, whenever I take a trip, if I want to use all points, I use all points
Oh, so but every time you stay in a hotel, they give you a lot of points, right? And it accumulates over time.
over time.
Oh, I look into that. That's pretty awesome, bro. Nice. Good stuff, bro. Awesome. Now, so brother, now you're in Taiwan, right? Which is I'm assuming ethnically Chinese, right? So I want to
Yes.
ask you, right, who who runs the country of Taiwan from what you saw? Is it Taiwanese people, or is it the Chinese from China, Communist Party, or is it the Japanese or Koreans? Who's in power there, brother, in your opinion?
In my opinion, it was the Taiwanese people.
Mm.
Uh, and people that I made contact when I was there, I mean, they made it seem like, the Taiwanese kind of run everything. And then there's other ethnic groups that come there to work. So when I was there, I saw Filipinos and Filipinas. I saw Vietnamese. I talked to some Koreans. There's a few Americans staying at the hotel, and I ran into a couple of people from United Kingdom, a couple of people from Australia. But for the most part, you know, there I went entire days not seeing another foreigner, besides the people the person that was with me for most of the time.
That's crazy. Okay, but it's a very, very ethnically overall majority Taiwanese majority.
Yes,
Okay, thank you, bro. Now, brother, you're a Western brother, right? I want to
yes, I am.
ask you, um, how were you treated there, brother, as a Western black man, brother? Was it good, bad? Were you respected there? I want to know about the respect stuff, brother.
Yeah, I was respected. I was treated very well. I say that there was two incidents that I thought maybe race might have played a factor in it. One night I was coming out of a restaurant and I was trying to get a taxi, and they turn a red light on when they're available, and the light's off. That means they've got a customer. And there's one taxi driver that's driving, and I tried to hail him down, and he reached up and turned his light off. So I had that happen to me twice. Now, I don't know if he maybe forgot had somebody in the vehicle and he didn't, turn it off, or if he didn't see me, or he's tired, he's getting off. I don't know the details, but that happened two times where they turned it off. Most of the time, if I hailed it, tried to get somebody's attention, and they're, a driver for hire, if the red light was on, they swooped right on over, pick me up with no problems.
Okay, but
Uh,
when it comes to like one-to-one interactions or the vibe that people giving you off, there was no like weird racist vibe from Taiwanese people.
None whatsoever. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, I went to Buddhist temples. I went to the mall. I walked through their outdoor shops. I went to the tourist sites. I mean, I rode in taxis. I rode on a bus. I rode on a train, and not one time did I feel like I was being treated differently or looked at differently. I mean, I was just another foreigner.
This is incredible. I can't wait to get to the woman part. This is very good. So if you're getting treated this well and it's not even dating, I wonder how Taiwanese women are going to treat you. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that very soon, brother.
All
So
right.
I want to ask you, brother, now. For me as a passport, bro, for me it's more than just a woman, in my opinion. It's more than it's for me as a passport, bro. It's freedom about acquiring wealth, right? Making connections. So, brother, can we talk about investments there, right? Now, when you were in Taiwan, were there sort of, let's say, business opportunities or investment opportunities out there that we as passport bros could take advantage of?
Yeah, I definitely think restaurants, uh, huge opportunity for restaurants, because there's certain aspects, especially of like American culture, that they're really drawn to, especially like the cowboys and the Wild West kind of thing, and they love like hip hop music. And I saw like a Jamaican restaurant when I was there, and it was just packed with people going in there to buy food. And I saw a couple of American chain restaurants that were doing really well, and even like one American chain restaurant that's kind of dying in the United States, but it was just very seemed very popular there.
Damn. Well, what is that chain?
TGI Fridays.
Oh, wow. Interesting. But you mentioned Jamaican restaurant, right? Was the owner a black person or was it a Taiwanese person?
Is a black person, and it looked I believe he was married to a Taiwanese woman, and they had their children there, and they were all working in the restaurant. I think he had a couple of his other relatives there as well.
Oh, brother, that was
Uh,
in Taipei.
Taipei. That was in Taipei.
Brother, like what I'm hearing so far is what I've been hearing from other brothers telling me in the past that yo, IP, don't just focus only about Japan. Taiwan's a spot, a mini spot there that brothers need to tap into. And brother, it's sounding very positive so far, bro. Very positive.
Oh, yeah. So I'll say it's positive. Now, there was one thing there that kind of freaked me out a little bit, and they had this like an air defense drill. So for 2 hours, I'm pretty much like trapped inside this mall, and they're like, if you go outside, you'll get a fine and everything like that. But I guess they periodically run drills, because of the political climate and potential military situation with mainland China.
Mm,
So it was kind of like, and with me not speaking Mandarin and having very little ability to understand what's going on, when they tell me that I got to stay inside, and then somebody's like, "Yeah, they're running an air defense drill," and I'm like, "Okay," and then I start kind of picking up on what's going on, and I'm like, "Oh, like this is a real thing for them. Like they've got to worry about potentially having some unwelcome military guests showing up at any time there."
mm, facts, bro. Facts. Hopefully that doesn't happen because obviously if China does take over Taiwan, then the next day, Taiwan's will start hating black people. Let's keep it a buck, you know. I'm just keeping it a
Uh,
buck, bro. Okay, we know how the Chinese get down with black people. All right. So next question here, brother, is that so brother, when it comes to like let's see people, right? Tell me how Taiwanese people are like, brother. Are they kind people? Are they introverts on average? Are they extroverts? How do they like, brother, Taiwanese people?
they're really kind people from my experience. They stick to themselves and they work hard. Like there's when I first got off the plane there's a security guard that was there, like directing traffic, and like just a job like that. I mean, you could tell by the way he's wearing his uniform. Like took a lot of pride in his appearance, took a lot of pride in his job, and then as I'm asking somebody for directions there, it's like if they couldn't understand what I was saying, they automatically took me to somebody who could, to make sure that I was okay. And then they would come back and like check on me, like, "Hey, are you getting everything you needed?" And using hand signals and trying to make sure that that I was good. It was like, "Hey, if that person doesn't work, I'll try to take you to somebody else, but we'll get you taken care of here."
Wow. Okay. Whoa. So brother, they treated you well as a black man. They respected you. You like, brother, you have nothing bad to say about them.
I've got nothing bad to say about it whatsoever. Like I said, even those two incidents with the taxi drivers, I can't 100% definitively say that it was based on race.
Damn. Brother, were you getting stares though? From a lot of people out there in Taiwan, or some people are like, "Oh, a black man is here." And was it weird stares? Was it stares of intrigue? Break it down.
I say the only time I ever had somebody mention my race, it was another black man. And he was like, "Hey, brother, what you doing out here, man?" He's like, "You don't see a lot of us here." Then I guess there's another time where I was in the hotel gym and I was working out, and there's like three women there wanted to take pictures with me, and they were like, "Oh, you're so strong," and they wanted to like touch my arms and touch my muscles and take pictures with me. And there's another guy there, another Western white guy, and he was bigger than me, and they didn't go anywhere near him to take pictures of him with his muscles.
Damn. Wow. This is brother, this might sound crazy, right? But you telling me that there's some sort of black privilege going on there in Taiwan?
I wouldn't say, black privilege. Yeah, I would just say that, unfortunately, because of the way that, we get treated in some areas of the world, you might view, pure equality as privilege.
Mm, facts. Facts, bro. So, but now can I ask you, right? Um, how did you meet people and make friends there in Taiwan? Like, were you like going to like wine tasting events? Were you going to bars? How did you meet people there and make friends there, bro?
When I go places, there's the first place that I always look for friends at the hotel.
Mm,
If you when you're checking into the hotel, whoever's there, like they specialize in hospitality. Most of them are going to speak the language. They're from the area. They know how to get around. So what I always try to do is find somebody at the hotel. I'll ask them some questions. I'll pull them aside, talk to them for a little bit, and then I'm asking like, "Hey, what do you do when you're not working? And then, do you have any availability to maybe show me around?" And if they're open to it, I can usually pull a friend at the hotel. Then there's always somebody at the hotel bar that is not from the area but knows the area well. Like they travel there frequently for business. And the other thing is like, just shopping malls. Like if you're walking around a shopping mall, like people are gonna want to talk to you. You're a foreigner, you're not from there, you don't speak the language. Like they're gonna be intrigued as to how you ended up in this place, especially if it's some place that's kind of off the regular, beaten tourist path like Taipei.
Awesome. Aside from that, did you meet like good people from the hotel, and was it mostly Western people, or did you meet Taiwanese people as well?
Taiwanese people, and then foreign workers from other Asian countries.
Awesome. Now, aside from the hotel game, how else were you meeting people?
Met so I met the Filipina lady. I met her on a dating site, and I talked to her for like a few days before I got there, and she did not think that I was coming there. Like she used 100% like, yeah, it's cool talking to you and everything like that. We chatted in on the dating site, went over to WhatsApp, talked on WhatsApp, and I told her I was coming out there, and she was like, okay, like, let me know when you get here. And when I got there, she's like, "You're really here?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "No, like you really came here." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Why?" And I was like, "I came here. I want to experience this place and everything." And she ended up making some time for me, and we hung out, got to be pretty close actually.
Hey, damn, awesome. So, but now when it comes to like transportation, right? In Kaichong and Taipei, do we have to use Uber or and taxis, or is there like a very good, strong transportation system there? Buses, trains, underground, subway.
So they've got like a bullet train that goes from like the city to city. And there, I actually took one of those from Kaohsiung, from Taipei to Kaohsiung, and then back to Taipei. I took that. Uh, Uber is available there, but it's extremely inaccurate. So if you're standing at the corner of, let's say, First Street and Second Street, and you ask for an Uber to show up, the Uber show up, like on the opposite corner, and then the driver will ask you to come to him or her,
Hmm.
and like they'll sit there and they'll wait for you because it's like they don't want to play the game of trying to get to you and it not being accurate. And the crazy thing is, like when the Uber shows up, it's actually a taxi. It's not like a private driver. So they somehow the taxis are associated with Uber, but you still don't have to pay cash. All it's cashless system for that. Sometimes depending where you are, it's cheaper and faster to get there and get a taxi. The thing about the taxi though is that the younger drivers, you can show them on your phone the English writing for the hotel or wherever you want to go. The older ones, what I always told people to do is like what I started doing was I would go someplace where I had Wi-Fi because the cellular service was terrible, and I was not going to buy a SIM card there and put a Chinese SIM card in my phone and end up with all kinds of problems later on. So I would get on the Wi-Fi, go connect through my VPN, and I would get the Chinese characters on my phone for where I needed to go, and I'd screenshot it, save it as a picture, and then I also have the English on there as a picture too. If it was somebody who was younger and they could read the English, I could show them on my phone where I needed to go. If it was somebody who's older, I would show them the Chinese characters and they could put it in their GPS and take me where I needed to go. But if not, like the first time, I had this situation happen to me, I'm trying to show this guy where I want to go. He can't read English. I can't speak Mandarin. And we're trying to figure this out. And he ends up taking me close to where I needed to go. Yeah, he got some of what I was saying, just good enough to get me where I could walk the rest of the way. But other than that, it was going to be a problem.
Okay. So brother, now let me ask this right. So you're saying that you can go around in buses and subway. It's very developed in that way, both
Yeah,
cities.
yeah,
Easy.
it's very developed. And then, they ride their mopeds like crazy. I mean, everybody's got a moped. And if you brave enough, you want to rent one of those, you can rent one of those too. But I understand, like talking to one of the other people there, they were like, it's almost impossible to get it back to where they needed to be at the time they needed to be.
Awesome.
But
Now, go on, bro.
I'll go ahead.
So now, brother, right? So out there in Taiwan, right? Is it cashless or is it mostly cash?
Just both. I mean, it was like as far as the finance goes, it was just like being in the United States. Nobody's going to turn down cash, and they'll accept the card as well.
Awesome, awesome, bro. And brother, the card you use, right? Is it a credit card you use that doesn't
Uh,
have FX exchange? Break it down for me, bro.
I just use a debit card, and then I always before I go on any trip, I always get myself like about $1,000 American to convert it over into that currency, and I use that cash the rest of the time. Yeah, as much as I can. The crazy thing, like I was not prepared for, was the amount of coins that they use. I like you're paying for something, and let's say it's like 1,000, yeah, 1,000 Taiwanese dollars, and you give them, you give them, the money. And I'm sorry, say it's like, I don't know, 960 Taiwanese dollars. You can get $40 Taiwanese back in coins. Because I mean, their coins are worth dollars, like 50s and 60s and tens and fives and ones. I mean, they've got a wide range of coins, and it drove me nuts at times because I'm sitting there, paying for something, and then I'm getting, just a handful of coins back. And I will say is they're very honest because they count out every single coin you to make sure you're getting exactly the right amount of change. So you don't have to worry about, like in some countries, paying the tourist tax and getting ripped off and getting charged more and cheated out of your money. I did not have any problems with that whatsoever.
Brother, so how do you convert money, brother? Do you convert money in hardcore cash in America to take it with you
Yes.
to Taiwan? Okay, so you spend it. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, I shop around for the best exchange rates and the lowest fees. So I've got like a handful of places around me that I go to near at the airport here or in other areas when I'm traveling. And I usually book my trips about a month or two in advance, and I stack up my money in that currency before then.
Wow, in actual paper cash, brother, in hard cash.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So, brother, now for you, right? Tell me more about the food out there in Taiwan, right?
Oh,
Um, did you did you like the food, brother, or did you not like the food? If so, what was your favorite cuisine? Anything weird about the food? Break it out for us, bro.
oh, brother, you're gonna be so disappointed in this. Uh, I did not eat any of their food really. Uh, th- their their conditions looked so unsanitary to me that I was like, I'm not gonna spend, my entire vacation over here, sick from food poisoning. Like a lot of the restaurants, like when you go into the restroom, there's a sink that's outside, and it's in between the male restroom and the female restroom. So it's kind of like communal. Everybody washes their hands in the same spot. I saw men and women come out of the bathroom after hearing the toilet flush, just get one of their hands wet and just flick their hands, wipe it off, and keep moving. No
What
soap,
the
no hand sanitizer, nothing. And a couple of them were restaurant workers I saw doing this. So I was like, yeah, that's I'm not trying that. And then they eat a lot of fish and squid. And I walked through the fish markets and I saw the squid and I saw the fish and I saw like how they were giving samples and how they were cutting things. I was like, yeah, this is it kind of like, those videos about the like Indian street food. It reminded me of that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not trying this. So I ate at the American chain restaurants and various restaurants that were places where I was like, okay, they've got some kind of standards here, and I was okay for that.
flipping heck? So, probably you ain't try, spiders, bat. You ain't tried any of octopus tentacles, all that stuff, bro. Nope.
I wasn't risking it. If I'm get if I'm gonna get sick, I'm gonna get sick where I can get to a hospital that I know I can trust. So
I think that's the thing that brothers need to be aware about the food, man. In some Asian countries, it's different. It's a lot of pork out there, a lot of seafood, a lot of stuff that we're not used to in the West. So I don't blame you for going to eat McDonald's every day, bro.
yeah, I mean, and it's funny 'cause everybody like I got back, they was like, "Oh, what was the food like? What was the food like?" I was like, "Man, you don't want to eat that stuff. Like, unless you got a cast iron stomach, don't try it."
But did you go for like the markets? Do you see some weird stuff there, brother? Some weird animals and weird bits?
I wouldn't say it's weird. Um, I saw a duck, I saw a goose. You see the duck with the head still on it, in the hanging up in the window. But I've been to this is my 49th country, so I've seen all that before. But I didn't see any snakes or monkeys or anything like that, being served. So, which I have seen before. So
Which country? Oh shoot!
I know it was in I saw some snakes in Cambodia, and I think it was some monkeys there too. They had,
Effing hell, man! What's going
prepared and ready
on?
to go for you.
I feel like there's some stuff right that I don't think humans should be eating, man.
Yeah,
If I'm honest with you, like I don't know if you agree or disagree, but there's just some things that you gotta keep away from. Um, like, do you agree, brother?
I agree. And like, yeah, I always tell people, I don't care, how you like your steak in the United States or whatever Western country that you're from. If you go to some of these countries, and you better get it well cooked, because you don't know what is in it, how they prepared that, how, what parasites might be still be living in it. And so, yeah, if you're gonna eat a rat not knowingly, make sure it's a well cooked rat. Make sure that rat is well done. Because you
Oh,
don't know what's in that stuff.
oh my God, I think yeah, like me, like brothers in the chat. If you let me know if you disagree or agree, right? Let me know. But I feel like the main meat sources for humans, right, should be chicken, beef, lamb, uh, and that's pretty much it. Turkey. Do you agree or disagree there, K62?
Oh, I eat a lot of wild game here. I'm big on hunting and fishing, so I eat deer, I eat elk, yeah, but I yeah, I don't eat a lot of pork, but I definitely eat some beef and I eat some wild game. And I'm not touching any reptiles, but other than an alligator, I eat some alligator.
What's wild game? What's that? How that's what that?
Like deer, venison, deer, elk, moose, the animals that we
Oh,
hunt here.
but you see, you alligator. You said,
Yes.
brother, are you trolling me right now?
No, not at all.
Brother, alligator. How does that taste like?
It depends on how it's cooked. Sometimes it's like a chewy chicken sometimes. But
Brother,
other
do they sell that in the shops in the package, like all like packaged up, or is this way something you hunt for and you cut it up at home?
some places, the first time I had it, I paid a couple $100, went on a gator hunt, and we got a gator, and they took us back to this place and prepared it. And we got to cook it and eat it right there on the spot. So that was down in
So it's
Florida.
so basically, but you ain't buying, but you can't buy that from like Costco and Walmart, right? They ain't selling that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think so. I haven't seen it here where I live. Maybe in some of the other states, they might have it out there.
Alligator. This is interesting. Like, I don't know about that, bro. For me personally, I feel like the four main meat sources for brothers should be chicken, lamb, beef, and turkey.
Yeah,
Anything outside of that, good luck, man.
you're gonna get some pushback from your
Yeah.
American brothers on the lamb.
Now, in rabbit, like, bruv,
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, I
I
eat
don't know
rabbit
about
too.
that. Rabbit, you rabbit.
Yes.
How does that
Oh
taste
yeah,
like?
it's like chicken. It's good.
Flipping heck. Okay. Um, all right. So next part over here. So, well, let me ask this right. So now, but I want to ask you about cell phone roaming. Okay. Um, when you're out there in, you dropped off. Flipping heck, you dropped off. You dropped off. Um, bruv, like some of y'all out here eating that, bruv. Yeah, seafood is cool. I eat fish. Um, but I keep it simple, man. No monkeys, no alligators, no deers. I don't think so. No pigeon. F that, bro. I don't think so, man. I keep it simple. I don't know about y'all. I keep it very simple. Where's the brother at? He should be here joining us in a bit. Um, alligator. Y'all eating gator meat? Let me search that up. Alligator meat. What, bruv? Nah, not me, bruv. Not me. Uh, next thing you know, I bet y'all eating cats too, yeah? Not me, bruv. Where's the brother at? I keep it real simple, man. I don't. I ain't no exotic stuff, man. I keep it real simple. Um, I don't know about that. I ain't eating deer, bro. Nah, no deer, bruv. Try lamb, yeah, brother. Yeah, lamb is good. I like lamb. Lamb is good. Um, like I think there's some meats that brothers need to avoid for health reasons. Obviously, red meat isn't too good. If I'm honest with you, you eat it here and there. So your main meat source should be chicken. Actually, if I'm keeping a buck, your main meat source should be chicken. Chicken is clean, high protein, low fat, low carbs, and also it's not red; it's white meat, right? So brothers need to be eating, a lot of white meat, and that's chicken. You know, some of y'all telling me eating gator meat. You guys are jokers, bruv. You man are jokers, man. Turn your camera off, K62. It says device is not connected. Okay, now you're back. Okay, I'm bringing you on, brother. K62.
Got me.
Yeah, I got you, bro. Yeah, you good, brother? You back?
I'm back. I'm good. Sorry about that.
No worries, bro. We still talk about eating some weird meats, and then I don't know. Keisha must have caught a cold off.
All right. Yeah.
So, bro, I wanted to ask you right about um cell phone, right? So when you're out there in Taiwan, what are you using? Are you using your own mobile phone? Are you using a Taiwanese SIM, or do you have like a deal with your current American cell phone provider that you can use it in Taiwan? How did it work?
Well, I tried to use my own American uh, provider. I paid for the extra fees, just like $10 a day, and it did not work at all. Like I said, the only communication I had is when I had access to Wi-Fi, which drove me nuts. So, uh, I was not, like I said, before I was not going to put some Chinese SIM card in my phone and end up, whatever any kind of problems when I got back home or have any financial issues, when I was there because of it.
Okay. So what did you use to communicate? Were you just struggling to get by, or with your American plan?
Yeah, I was struggling to get by. I had Wi-Fi at the hotel. I had Wi-Fi at various restaurants, and then the young lady I was with let me hotspot off of her phone.
Awesome. Brother, so tell me the issue of using a Taiwanese SIM. Is it because of obviously America, China animosity, or just the language barrier? It might turn your characters into kanji and Mandarin.
Yeah, that and the main thing really was like I just in it, that the Chinese are there. They blend right in, so you don't know who you're buying this stuff from, and
Mm,
they're as a foreigner, they know who's in and out there. Like when you land in the country, they scan your passport and then they take your fingerprints from two of your fingers. So I've been to a lot of countries, and it's usually, they're collecting some kind of data, some kind of information when they're doing that for you. And then, all the places trying to sell SIM cards to you are usually right by the airport too. So I was not going to risk that. And I figured that my plan from, the United States that would work over there, and it did not work at all. It was terrible. So I just used as much data as I could. and talked over WhatsApp. And I think I had a couple of calls on Snapchat too.
Brother, let's talk about that, right? So the Chinese, obviously, difference between Taiwanese and actual Chinese people. Did you come across the actual Chinese people, the ones from China in Taiwan, or was it hard to distinguish who's Chinese and who's Taiwanese?
It was hard to differentiate.
Mm,
There's one guy I stayed at the hotel. He told me he was from China, and he was friendly, but I could tell, he was uh some of the Taiwanese people, you could tell that once they realized where he was from, I guess his accent was different, that they were kind of standoffish towards him too.
mm. So, but it's real. The animosity between Taiwanese and Chinese people is actually real. It's not fake.
It,
Is that what you saw?
it's real. I mean, you figure, the people in mainland China, they view Taiwan as like this rogue province that they need to bring back into the fold. And the people from Taiwan, they call themselves the Republic of China, and they believe that they're doing things the way they should be done, and you know they're the country that's got it right.
Mm, interesting. You know, that's interesting. But you've been in Japan, right?
Bev.
Would you say like Taiwan is a mini Japan?
No, I mean it's still China. I wouldn't say it's like a mini Japan,
Mm,
because the technological differences in Japan are far greater. But like as far as the people go, they were super friendly. Like I had no problems whatsoever when I was there.
okay. So, brother, now cost of living, right? You're telling me that Taiwan was cheaper than America by a lot?
Definitely, definitely cheaper than America. I wouldn't say by a lot. You know, maybe if I could put a percentage on, I'd say probably 20% cheaper.
Okay. Wow, this is good. This is great intel so far. I'm definitely getting close to date and talk very soon. Just want to get some few things out the way because we don't have much Taiwanese streams on this channel, so we need to get the real things out. That's very important. So, brother, safety, right? Is Taiwan a safe country? Was there any point where you felt unsafe in the nighttime, the daytime, nightlife? Is it safe?
It's extremely safe, and I felt safe the entire time I was there. And you know, I take risk. Yeah, and if somebody tells me don't go to this place, I'm going there probably. Like if I'm gonna when I'm out exploring and I'm in another country, yeah, I'm gonna do as much as the locals do as possible. Yeah, I don't want to look at anything through like this lens of an American tourist. I want to be with the people as much as possible.
Hmm. Okay. Awesome. So, racism, brother. So, apart from the two instances that may not have been racist or could have been racist, no racism at all, no N words said towards you, no rudeness, and any sort of racist looks at all.
None.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, interesting. Okay. But now, what about culture? Now, across Taipei and Kaichung, right? Is Taiwan conservative or is it liberal when it comes to culture?
Uh, I'd say it's a mixture of both. Uh, there's a lot of very conservative people there, and then there was there's some like liberal leaning views on things, like how some of the women dressed. You saw some short skirts, you saw some short tops, and you saw women with their bodies exposed. It was nowhere near like what you see in the United States, but it was definitely not as conservative as I've seen in other parts of Asia.
Oh, interesting. So women out there wearing dressing like not promiscuous, but showing a lot of skin.
Yeah, a little revealing sometimes. Some of the nightwear was a little revealing at times. I mean, you're not talking about like walking down, the street in like Pattaya or Phuket in Thailand. You're not seeing that, but you're definitely seeing, a little bit more skin than you're used to seeing in, most Asian countries.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
on the other
Mm.
side of it, I'm working out in the gym at the hotel, and the employees can work out there, and some of the people who are traveling, with their spouses are working out in there, and I'm seeing women in there, and they've got, long pants on, they've got, you know, three-quarter sleeve shirts. There's nobody on the treadmill, running in the sports bra or anything that you'd see in the United States. Like they kept themselves covered. A lot of that. And then, just when it wasn't like party time going out, majority of the women were dressed, fairly conservatively.
Incredible. Now, yeah, I've heard Taiwan is quite liberal in many things. Um, and I think that's due to its proximity to the States. And that goes to my next question, brother, right? How bad is American influence in Taiwan?
I didn't see a lot of it. I saw some Japanese influence. Like there's some of the like younger teens that were dressed, walk around looking like anime characters. And I saw a lot of the pink hair and the blue hair and the nose rings, and a few of the women with tattoos and stuff. But coming from somebody who's in the United States and travels around the United States and knows the different cultures across the United States, I didn't see anything and be like, oh, this is becoming, like America at all. It was like, you could see some influence, but it was nowhere near as bad as like some places in Japan can be near the military bases, or how, you know, places in Germany are when they're around the military bases.
Okay. Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, brother, actually, the woman part we'll get to very soon. Brother, lifestyle, right? What kind of lifestyle do Taiwanese people live there in Taiwan? Is it middle class? Is it mostly upper class? Is there very poor population there? Break it down for me, bro.
Mostly middle class. You can see some elements of like lower middle class and middle class. The only time I saw homeless people was at the train station. Like they were not just laying around on the streets, and they weren't, on every street corner begging or anything like that. I just saw them at the train stations.
Yep. I think I read that. Brother, like for you, brother, what kind of lifestyle would you live out there in Taiwan if you were living there with your, let's say, with your American salary or American money? Was that upper class lifestyle, middle class lifestyle?
Uh, you know, I, I live an upper middle class lifestyle here, so I'd probably live the equivalent there, maybe a little bit higher.
Mm. So you know what? Like, I've read that Taiwanese people are actually quite wealthy. Actually, because I think they got the TC and brothers in the chat. Let me know if I'm wrong here, but they got TCMC, that semiconductor corporation, which is used to power chips for AI and computers. And per capita, right, per people, or whatever you want to call it, I think I read that just over $150,000, right, per person. They're doing quite well, and all the Chinese people I've met, right, in my life, right, which has been quite small, but I've met some. They've always had money or had a degree of wealth. It's a very
Well,
wealthy country, and the people that have money, but is that a fair statement, there, brother? From what you saw, people that are rich, a lot of people.
yeah, I saw a lot of people that are doing very well. Uh, you gotta, like my perspective, it's skewed. If I'm staying in a 4 and 5 star hotel, the majority of the people I'm going to be around are going to be your average individuals in that country. When I travel and I was out and I'm going to the malls and things, I saw varying degrees, but I never saw somebody that looked like they were struggling, except for the
Mm,
homeless people that were hanging out at the train stations.
Facts. I'm reading online here. Yeah, they're doing very well. It says here, according to stats, uh, the average per capita is 160,000 per capita. That's per person, which is a lot of money. Taiwanese companies pay huge bonuses at the end of the year, like 1 year for salary. What the flip? That's insane.
Wow.
Um, that's insane. Like these, like yeah, they're very wealthy, Taiwanese. And they go population of 23 million, small population, big company, TCMC. Obviously, Asians are normally rich, if I'm honest with you, particularly East Asians, Japanese, Chinese, Koreans. It is what it is. Yeah, interesting. So, brother, for you, right, brother, now, brother, did you see black men living there, brother, in Taiwan?
Yeah, the Jamaican brother that owned the restaurant, or I'm, from my limited interaction with him, I knew he was living there. Uh, the other three or four, they were just, travelers or they're on work trips.
Was that Jamaican brother doing well, money wise, wealth wise? Did he look like he was doing well?
His restaurant seemed like it was doing really well when I was there. That's the
Great.
only gauge that I had.
Did you see black men in Taichung?
And I saw one when I was there. He was just another tourist. I think he was from the Netherlands, actually.
Okay. Awesome. So next question for you, brother, right, is tell me about, so as a tourist, right, tell me things to do there and hobbies in Taiwan. What did you do there hobby wise? What should we do out there?
I went to a baseball game when I was there. I went to, a lot of like the Buddhist temples. I went on the bullet train. I explored the city. I went out to the beach, took a lot of pictures. If it was anything that was, like a tourist attraction, I was going there. I was up in the mountains. I was on the beach. I went through the cities. And at nighttime, I went to a couple of the nice bars that were out there. So I saw some of their hip hop bars or clubs that were there. I went to one of those, which is an experience in itself. So, I mean, there's a lot to do, and then like my biggest thing, really, that biggest struggle I had was trying to find a place to eat that seemed like it was sanitary enough to not get me sick.
So, brother, now let me ask this right. So tell me about the language there. Is English enough to speak out there? Do most people know English, or do we have to learn some sort of Chinese Mandarin?
Try to learn some Mandarin if you can. If you've got a cell phone that has any ability to translate, it, that'll go well for you because a lot of times they can speak English, but they'll pronounce things differently. And if they can write it for you, a lot of them, they can't write English. So if they can speak it into something and it translates it for you, it'll be a little easier to see. And there's quite a few of the younger generation, and when I say younger, I'm talking like 45 and younger, that will at least have some understanding of English. And then I'd say just about all of the, I guess I want to call them like third country nationals, the other Asians from other areas that are living in Taiwan and working there speak English. So there's a lot of Vietnamese workers, a lot of Filipino workers, and a lot of Thai workers there.
Okay, but Taiwanese people, some do speak a degree of English, a good amount do. I'm
A
assuming.
good amount do under the age of 45.
Perfect, perfect. So next question for you, brother, right, is tell me about the weather there. When you went out there, was it very hot? Was it cold? Was it in the middle?
It was very hot.
Mm.
It was hot, and if it wasn't hot, it was raining. So let me Figure it out for you. So yeah, it was between it got the hottest day there, it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 37.78 degrees Celsius.
Flipping heck, that is very hot. Crazy.
Yes, eh, crazy hot out there. A couple of days.
But did you party at all in Taipei and Taichung?
I partied in Taipei. I had 2 nights of partying out there, and I had a great time. Um, they played some hip hop music. They played a lot of pop. Um, you know, and it the DJs out there, like, it was kind of strange. They had like no flow to their music whatsoever. It's like we'll play a pop song, they're gonna play a rap song, they're gonna play a country song, they're gonna play R&B song, and then back to rap. It's just up and down, up and down. It's like and they're singing along to the music and listening to them sing in their accents made it even more funny.
Were
Yeah,
you in a club or bar?
I was in a club.
Awesome. So, brother, now in the club when they play rap music, right? Obviously, unfortunately, they say the N word in these songs. Are the Taiwanese people saying the N word, or are they not saying the N word?
I did not hear any of the music. I want to say, like, for decency, that they I don't think I heard any music with profanity in it. Like,
Great,
if they were playing a music, they played like the radio edit of it.
awesome, awesome. And brother, in the nightlife scene, right? You as a black man, um, how were you perceived there? Were the women looking at you? Were they checking for you? You know, what was the vibe there?
So if I didn't have a woman sitting right next to me or on my lap or hugged up with me or kissing on me, I had another one trying.
But that was a Taiwanese Chinese ethnic woman.
Yes.
What the
So like,
interesting.
the young lady I sent you the pictures of me with,
Mm.
like I started hanging out with her pretty much every single minute after like the third day I was there. But if she got up and she left to go to the bathroom or to go get another drink or something, there was women, circling like sharks to get to me.
Brother, Taiwanese women were doing that towards you.
Yes. And I didn't experience any jealousy from the men whatsoever. And the way that I think that worked out was there was so many women in there and there were so many good looking women that it's like, yeah, he's just another guy, with getting attention to women because they were like just about every man in there had a chance with some of the women.
And bro, were you in the hip hop clubs when this was happening?
Yeah, I went to the hip hop clubs, and then there's times when I'll just be like in restaurants, bars, and at the hotel.
But do you remember the name of these hip hop clubs that you went to that where you were
I
getting love from the woman?
I don't remember. I could probably go back and look at some of my pictures and get it for you though.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah.
We need to yeah, this is very interesting intel. So, um, so but you say overall the nightlife is amazing in Taipei.
Well, definitely. I mean,
Mm.
like it's a good. I had a really good time, and like the even the guys there, like the men, they want to take pictures and take pictures with me and show off their American friend and buy me drinks and everything.
Incredible. Incredible. So, but can I ask this right? So now let's talk about so between actually let's talk about so brother, I'm an IT bro and there's other IT bros as well that watch my channel. Um, does Taiwan give that remote working landscape or that kind of work environment where you can bring your laptop there and chill somewhere and work there, or that's not the scene for in your opinion?
Yeah, I definitely think so. As long as you've got access to the internet, yeah, you can do whatever you need to do there. And the is that the people are very accommodating, they're friendly, and every time I had some sort of problem, there was somebody trying extra hard to fix it.
Awesome. Awesome, bro. Awesome. So Brother, next one for you, right, is so brother, so the internet there is very, very strong there, brother. The Wi-Fi,
Yes.
4G, 5G,
Yeah, 5G.
perfect. Brother, between Taipei and Taichung, which was your favorite city and tell me why?
So Taipei is my favorite. I had a lot of things to do there, and it was just it was more walkable. And then a lot more of the taxi drivers there could speak English. That made it a whole lot easier for me. And then there was a lot more of the sanitary and more Western restaurants there as well.
Awesome. So, but you're saying like the unsanitary restaurants you saw mostly was in Taichung.
It was in both. I mean, both of them. Like if you're just walking down the street and you see a Chinese restaurant there, it's go in there and just check it out first. Take a good look. Walk into the restroom, look in the back. Yeah, give it a really good look. Yeah, and if it's sanitary for you, you want to roll the dice, go for it. But just your usual just walking down the street, restaurants that you've got, and coffee shops and everything. I wasn't touching them.
So, brother, now tell me about the bad parts about Taipei or Taichung that you want to bring up that you didn't like.
And the only thing I can really, say, it's probably my fault, was the communication issues that I had with my cell phone. Like, yeah, I was getting no signal there, and I pretty much had a brick in my pocket except for when I had Wi-Fi available. Other than that, I had good times with the people, and of course, and the unsanitary food conditions. But other than that, I had no complaints whatsoever.
Amazing. So, brother, should brothers travel alone or in a group to Taiwan? And tell me why.
I don't- if it's someplace that I can't go by myself, I'm not going.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm a big solo traveler. So I definitely recommend if you want to go and you can't get anybody to go with you, or you're a solo traveler, Taiwan is a good spot to go alone.
And brother, you went alone yourself there, right?
Yes, I did.
And you felt safe and everything.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome, bro. Fantastic. So next one to speak about, brother, is so out of 10, would you rate your trip to in Taiwan? What number?
9.5.
Damn, 9.5.
9.5. I landed at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I got to my hotel, and yeah, they got me checked in by like 5:15. That's after, I got my bag, got a taxi, got to the hotel, got checked in. I mean, they let me check in like 6 hours early, and they're just like, "Oh, you're a Marriott Gold member. Okay, thanks for showing up here." And they're like, "We'll give you the early check-in." Gave it to me. Walked up to my room, and everything was taken care of. Like every single step of the way. If I had a problem, there was somebody there trying to fix it. I didn't have a lot of problems. When I did, there was somebody trying to help me to fix it. Um, Hospitality, is top notch, and the young lady that I met was top notch. I had a great time with her.
Awesome. So before we go into the woman part right now, brothers, so we put it out there again. When it comes to protein sources, I recommend brothers only eat chicken, beef, lamb, turkey, fish, and salmon. K62 probably disagree, but brothers, I'm just keeping it a buck, right? But be careful of that red meat. If you want clean meat, chicken and salmon. That's all you need, brothers. Season it up, and then you're healthy, you're good. So the woman part, brother, very important. Now, I'll give you some context here. there's something not right between black men and East Asian women. Okay. Um, it just appears to be like if a black man isn't with a black woman, he's with a white chick. If he's not with a white chick, he's with a Latina chick, and it ends there, right? We don't really see a lot of black men with East Asian women, and it's become a common thing as to what is going on here. Are these women not checking for us, or are black men not checking for them? Why is there such a huge disconnect between black men and East Asian chicks? There's also a study called the Oxford Study, okay, which is not really a study, but it's just a term where people complain about Asian women only worshiping white dudes. Okay. Now, I've always said this, right? It is very possible for a brother to pull an East Asian chick, but you have to go to certain spots. One of them being Japan. Very possible in Japan. Korea 50-50. China, that's a no-go. I tell brothers to avoid China like a flipping plague. Okay. But there's one country that I've not been too sure about, and that's been Taiwan. Okay. Brother, I want to ask you this, right? From your experience, from what you saw out there, are Taiwanese women, and when I say Taiwanese chicks, I'm talking the ethnic of Chinese blood, right? Checking for black men in Taiwan.
Yes.
Break it down. Why
So, you know,
and how?
from let's see, the moment I got to the hotel and the first conversation I had with the woman there, she was very friendly, very open, and everything like that. But seemed interested. When I was out and about, if I was by myself, I had women approach me, ask me if I needed help, ask me, want to practice their English with me. When I was in the gym working out, I had women taking pictures with me, wanting to touch my muscles, wanting to hang out with me when I was there. And the brother that I talked to that was from the Netherlands, he had a woman with him that was very attractive, and she was ethnic Taiwanese. He told me he met her online and came out there to visit her, and he was spending 2 weeks with her, and she wasn't. I mean, he had to go to the bathroom to get away from her. I mean, she had her claws dug into him.
Interesting. Now, but you fell in love with a Filipina chick, right, out there, and but you sent me pictures, and she's a dime, very good looking woman. Congrats for putting her brother. Do
So
you want to
thank
give
you.
us some context, some context there as to how you actually poured a Filipina living in Taiwan, brother?
So there are a lot of uh, Asians from other countries that come to Taiwan to work. So I didn't understand why, but you kind of explained it here. Like Taiwan's like obviously pays very well, so it's a country that if you're living in the Philippines, you'd go make more money working in Taiwan. Also, the people for the Asians from the other countries, it's not like when they go to Dubai or Saudi Arabia, they're not stuck doing domestic work. They get jobs, you know, working in factories and selling cell phones and you know jobs that are more than just labor jobs. So I was able to, I talked to a couple of friends and everything like that. Go check out some things online, and I saw that the dating sites that they use over there, they still use OKCupid, which is kind of like fallen out of favor in the United States, but evidently in other countries it still does well. So I got on there, created myself a profile. I shot out about 20 messages, and I think I got like 12 back. So she showed the most interest, and I went towards her first. And the fact that she was Filipina, I knew that she could speak English well. And, I know a little bit about the Filipino culture from previous experiences with other women. So I was able to, stay in touch with her. And she really, she did not believe that I was really coming out there. And when I told her that I was there, she was shocked. And once, we met up the first time, you know, she saw how I treated her. She saw how, I looked like my pictures. And from that point forward, she's like, I'm going to see if I can take some time off work and I'll spend some time with you and I want to hang out with you. And she did. And I had a great time with her.
Damn, yo, this is incredible. Um, so you set the motion before going to Taiwan,
Yeah,
but
just a few
should so
days.
mm, but you put your location in Taiwan, right? On
Right.
OkCupid, and then you start swiping. Then you swiped her, and the Filipina you chose her. Were you getting play from Taiwanese chicks on the apps as well?
I was getting a whole bunch. Yeah, a whole bunch. And they were, you know, I couldn't really figure out how far they were and I didn't know how the traveling was going to be. And, once I met the Filipina and she wanted to spend more time with me, I wasn't going to, mess that up by getting caught up in a situation with one woman leaving the motel, woman living in the hotel, another one, moseying on in. So I shut it down, which is funny because when I got back to United States and I was able to get my phone back up and running properly for the first time, I think I had something like things like 56 messages from Taiwanese women wanting to know if I was still there. And I was like, no, I'm gone. And it was like, well, if you ever come back, or can we talk and get to know each other? And a couple of them added me like on IG, and you know, they're DMing me talking about, I live close to this place. I wish we could have met. Yeah, I definitely think they're checking for the brothers. I mean, at least they're checking for me. And I don't claim to be, some top-notch, super hot, you know, model type of guy. I'm an average guy.
This is incredible, bro. Whoa. Um, but and the Taiwanese women that were checking for you, were these young women, 25, 24, 23,
The oldest one was 33. So
youngest
their youngest was 19
on the app, so in person?
on the app.
Lord, that's what we're talking about. Let's go. Carry on, bro.
So yeah, I mean, and I cycled through, and some of them could immediately disqualify based on personal preference, and some of them I was like, oh, man, I wish my phone would have been working out to try to swing this one too.
So you only use OkCupid out there?
That's all I used. Like I don't I prefer to do most of my talking to women in person. Like I said, I'm 43 years old, so like my experience with face-to-face interactions is way greater than it has ever been as far as online. Now I got a decent online presence. I know how to take pictures, but in person, I dress well. I've got an aesthetic muscular body and I speak well and I've got confidence.
Wow, incredible. But I want to ask this, right? So did you cold approach out there in Taipei? So in Taiwan?
I didn't have to. Yeah, all I had to really do was just sit down someplace by myself and women would come to me. Or they would
Wait, wait,
send a
wait,
friend, they'd have a friend send a friend to me.
hold on there. But you telling me Taiwanese women came to you?
Yes.
What?
Or
I'm
they'd have a
sorry.
friend or they'd have a friend
What?
come over to me.
But that was in both Taipei and in Taichung.
Yeah, both places. And unless I had a woman sitting on my lap or sitting right next to me, and even then, there's a couple that waved and tried to get my attention.
Whoa, it's incredible. So, but between Taipei and Taichung, right? Where do you feel you got most play from or most love from, and tell me why?
Okay, and it's a bigger, more developed city with a lot more. I guess probably a lot more exposure to foreigners.
Okay. Did you feel like what was I gonna say? Did you see black men out there with good looking Taiwanese chicks apart from the
Yeah,
guy? Mm.
yeah. The brother from the Netherlands, he had himself a dime. I mean, she was a really beautiful woman. Like, I'm looking at her and I'm looking at him, and he's smiling at me like, "Yeah, man, I got this, on the internet, man. I flew out here. I was spending 2 weeks with her." And I'm like, "Good for you, brother. Good for you." And
Whoa.
he's looking at the woman I'm with, and he's like, "Looks like you're doing pretty good for yourself too." I'm like, "Yeah." And then
So,
I saw one other guy, the Jamaican guy, his wife was pretty good looking too. And she was older. He was older, he had kids in her 20s in his restaurant working there, but looked like they'd been together for a while to have, two kids in her 20s. And she was a good looking older woman.
brother, did you speak to that guy from the Netherlands, or you walked past him?
I spoke to him. Yeah, we talked for a little bit.
So, brother, so hold on. So you were with a Filipino, right? He
Yeah.
was with his Taiwanese chick, right, brother. You're walking towards each
Yes.
other, and you just said hi.
Oh, he was trying to take a selfie with her, and I was like, "Hey, give me your phone. I'll take the picture for you." He's like, "Oh, appreciate it," and everything like that. And we started talking, and he took a picture of me with the lady I was with, and we just held a conversation from there. Because like, contrary to what the media likes to tell you, man, as black men, we're usually pretty cordial to each other.
Mm,
Especially when we're overseas, we're definitely friendly to each other then. And we had a
mm.
conversation, talked and everything. He told me where he was staying, what hotel. He gave me a few places where to go. He complained about the sanitary issues with the food. Yeah, like, yeah, I get it. And then he went on about his business, I went on about mine. He was with his lady, and I was with mine.
Was he dark skinned, the brother?
Yeah, he's a dark skinned brother.
Brother, dark skinned brother with a hot, young looking Taiwanese chick.
Yes.
How did he meet her? Did he tell you how you met her?
Yeah, he met her online. He said he met her online. They chatted for a little while, and he had some vacation or holiday, as you call it, coming up. So he went out there to go see her.
He met her online. Same app as you, or you don't
Yeah,
know
he
the
said
apps they
same app
use?
too. He said same app. Yeah.
This is interesting. What in time? And she was very gorgeous. She was young looking as well. Gorgeous young looking
Yes.
chick.
Yeah, he told me he was 36 and she was 25.
What the flip? Yo, Taiwan. Like, yo, Taiwan. What the flip? Taiwan.
And I'm 43 and I was with a 29-year-old
In Taiwan.
in Taiwan.
Chinese women showing love towards brother because these people they are Chinese ethnically, they are keeping a
Yeah.
buck, and they they were with a dark skinned black man. What the flip? What? But was he tall that dark skinned brother?
Yeah, he's tall. Yeah, he's probably about for our American brothers, he's about 6'2". Uh for the rest of the world. Let me figure that out for you real quick.
188 centimeters.
Yeah.
That's 6'2".
Yeah. It was 188 centimeters.
This is interesting. So I've got a super chat over here. Hold on, brother. Shout out to Ace of Spades. We'll open the phone lines in a bit, brothers. Went there for New Year's. No one was checking for anybody but other Chinese. What does that mean? So you saying that even when they thought I was an NBA player, they just wanted to talk a bit. So they weren't checking for you, brother. Just Chinese people checking for each other. That's interesting, bro. Um, Shout out to Ace of Spades at Rough Club and Wave. They would they would run quickly after. Oh man, but tell me more about the nightlife. So, but you telling me that you were with your Filipino chick, right?
Yeah,
And
I was with her.
every time she went away, Taiwanese woman would try to come to you and spit game at you.
And they at least try to talk to me or try to get me to dance with them, try to give me the dance floor. And it was just like I couldn't tell. Did they see me with her? Were they trying to like, stir something up? Or were they, genuinely interested, or were they just curious? But I got attention.
Go on,
Hello?
bro. Yeah,
Okay.
you
Yeah. So, I got, yeah, they were checking for me. They were you know, speaking English to me if they could. If not, they were trying to get me to dance with them. They were trying to pull me on the dance floor. And meanwhile, the Filipino was going to the bathroom and hurrying back as fast as she could.
Wow. Taiwan. Okay, brothers. Phone lines are open. If you want to speak about Taiwan, now's the time. And we're gonna the brother's got 10 minutes left before he drops off. So now's the perfect time. If you have any questions. Brother, how good looking are Taiwanese women, brother? Facially.
Facially, they are, it's hit or miss. I mean, there's some really beautiful ones. There's some average ones there, and then there's some that are not very attractive. I'd say the ones that are attractive, uh, they, like you're talking about a lot of brothers that don't like East Asian women, or there doesn't seem to be a mesh. You know, some brothers like thicker women, and most of them are very thin. So I like thin women, so I found a lot more attractive than maybe some other brothers would, but they had pretty faces, long hair. I mean, most of them that I saw when they're out, when they had their hair and their nails done, makeup looked good, and I mean, they were very, very feminine. Which, getting out of the United States, away from the green hair, blue hair, nose ring, tatted up feminist that I see on a daily basis, it was refreshing.
Damn. Brother, body wise, what are they packing, brother? Skinny woman, or do they have hips? What are they working with, brother?
You'll see a few of them with some nice tops and bottoms. Most of them are slim. Most of them are slim. The one I was with, she's on the slim, thick side. You saw the pictures, and but just about all of them had long hair, and like the ones with the shorter hair, they even had that looking nice. Not a lot of them were really, not a lot of tattoos. You do see some with tattoos, and you do see some of them with the Western influence with the colored hair and stuff like that. But most of them, they're as natural as they could be. Now, I will say, one of the things that I saw that was kind of disturbing, it was like the billboards there for the plastic surgeons. Just about all the plastic surgeons with on the billboards was trying to like make the Asian women like take their Asian features away. It was, I don't know what they were doing to their eyes, but when you look at the commercials and stuff, you can definitely see the affinity for the more fair skin that they have.
Interesting. Hmm. Very
And
interesting.
in the more upscale neighborhoods, you could see the or areas of the city, you saw plastic surgery commercials and billboards all over the place. And just about every model on the plastic surgery billboards was an Asian woman who looked to be uh, very fair skin and possibly biracial, being with Caucasian in her.
So, brother, now when it comes to like first dates, right? How does that work in Taiwan? Are you paying? Are you going 50-50? How does it work out there, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay, like, right off the bat. I'm gonna pick someplace, on the middle to lower scale of cost. I'm gonna pay. I'm not gonna ask any questions for it. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna treat her because I view, I'm giving her an opportunity to prove that she's worth time in my life.
Mm.
And, you know, if she earns a spot, she earns a spot. If not, she gets cut from the team right there. I don't invest a lot of time in women that I don't have a lot of interest in.
Mm. Interesting. Um,
Now,
go on, bro.
but I will say the Filipina that I was with, she would go out of her way to pay for things and buy me stuff because she did not want the stigma of being seen with a foreigner and the foreigner paying for everything. And she just felt like that would be a bad look for her. So she paid for a lot of things when we were together. And I had to like, and I tried to have talk her out of it, but she wasn't having it. She was like, no, I just like, she's like, as you know, I don't want to be viewed like this. And she was very protective of her image. And I'm all for that. You know, if that's something that you believe is going to help your image, and the fact that you even worry about your image is good with me.
Mm. But so is there a spot you top always go to for first dates?
You know, when you meet up, I always, pick someplace public and close to your hotel that you can walk to. You know, and if you can get if you're traveling, if you can get her to meet you at the hotel bar, that's even better.
Mm. Facts, facts, bro. Was it expensive paying for dates between you and the Filipino?
No, it wasn't expensive. I mean, I one night we went to like a more upscale uh American restaurant there, and that was expensive. I think overall, like for dinner, for appetizer, dinner, dessert for both of us, I think it cost me like $220 American. But I mean, at that point, she'd earned a spot. If you can
Awesome.
read between the lines
Brother,
on that.
so brother, so when it comes to like, the club fees, right? It's going to clubs. Who paid? Did you pay for both you and her, or did she pay for you? Was it separate?
One spot, it came out to like about $7 American for me, and they let her in free. It seemed like most of the time they were letting the women in free, and it wasn't like I don't know if you've ever been to Thailand before, but like a lot of times they let the women in free for places, but they expect you to buy drinks while you're there, and
Mm.
it'd be like a 2 drink minimum for each of you all. So like uh, I didn't experience any of that at all.
Did she pay for anything? The chick?
Yeah, I mean she bought me dinner, she bought me breakfast, she bought when we took the bullet train, she paid the tickets for that. And like, she was she definitely realized, she was trying to keep herself a spot on the team.
Amazing, amazing, brother. Tell me about the personality of Taiwanese women, brother. Like, is it like, are they bubbly? Are they extroverts, introverted? Tell me the personality of the average Taiwanese chick.
So most of the ones that I encountered were bubbly and curious. And they would ask a lot of questions. If they could speak English, they want to practice their English. If they were very curious about where I was from, how I got there. They were curious about, what I did back in the United States for work, if I'd ever been to any other countries before. And I was like, yeah, no, this is my 49th country I've been to. And they wanted to know about every place that I've been. And they asked a lot of questions, very curious, very friendly, and um, very territorial and possessive. Like if they think they've got you, they're going to do everything they can to keep you. And, I noticed that with the one Taiwanese woman that I spent some time with. And then that brother from the Netherlands, like that woman that he was with, like she was not letting him go. And then
Flipping heck.
the Taiwanese women that I saw, with Taiwanese men, it was the same way. Like they were, you know, all on their man, wanting everybody to know that they were together.
Flipping heck. Insane, bro. Insane. Um, whew. Yo, okay, brother. We are 1 hour 30 minutes, brother. Amazing interview. Brother, do you have any closing statements, bro?
Now, and if you want to, if there's anybody that wants to ask any questions, I'll hang out for a few more minutes. Then I got to get going.
Brothers, is this the time? Do you have any questions? Any questions in the chat? Let me know now. Brother hasn't got too much time left. Barry says here, he lived there for 4.5 years, lots to say. Taiwan is better than Taichung. Do you agree with that, brother?
You said Thailand is better than Taichung, or
He
Taipei is
says
better than Taichung?
Taipei is better than Taichung.
Yes, for sure.
In what way?
As like it's more developed. There's more things to do. Um, yeah, for me, I was able to get the Wi-Fi a lot easier, and it was more walkable. A lot more of the taxi drivers could speak English, and the hotels are a little bit cheaper too.
Awesome, awesome. Barry, you want to call in? Tell me about your time um in thing in Taiwan. Okay, I don't think we're gonna have any callers, brother. Let me see. Let's see. Tony says here, I've also had tons of success in Taipei. Did you go to ATTT for fun? What's that?
What was that? Yeah, I don't think I went
Did
there.
you did you go
Yeah,
to
you talking about
ATT? That's yeah.
was that the amusement park? 'Cause I thought the amusement park I went to was in Kaohsiung. Yeah, I can't say I
It's
went to
interesting.
ATT for fun.
Do you know that at all, brother?
No, I didn't know anything about it.
It says it's a central nightlife area by Taipei 101.
Oh, yes, yeah, that is where I was. Okay.
Was it good, bro?
Yeah, it was good because I want to say the nice restaurant I went to was right by that, and that's where the I went the
Awesome,
first night. Yeah, or no, the first night back.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Um, so it seems like it's very positive about Taiwan. It says here, are you a brother, Tony? Tony 5563. Are you a brother? Tell me more about your time in Taiwan. He says here, I did really well on Tinder and Bumble. What did you use? He used OK Cupid. You wanna call in Tony and speak about your experience in Taiwan? Okay. All right. Mr. K62, thank you, brother, for your time. Much
And
appreciated, bro.
thanks for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Sushi, brother. We speak soon, okay?
All right, take care, brother. Take care. Bye.
Take it easy, bro. Classic stream. Thank you, bro.
Anytime, brother. See ya.
CK. It's K62. Shout out to the brother. He says here, um, um, I'm black, fair years old, speak Chinese. Are you dark skin or light skin? And Tony, reach out to me on IG as well, brother. Let's get a stream popping for Taiwan. Not sure if this was covered. Um, is Taipei walkable? Can you navigate the public transportation easily? High quality internet, brother. That was all covered, bro. All covered. All right, we're about to move on to Rumble. I want to react to some content. Um, so I'm gonna post a Rumble link in the chat. Rumble. What's up? What's up, Cozy ET? Been a minute, brother. You good? Rumble. After party up next. Okay. We're gonna be on Rumble. We're gonna react to some content from this week. Have a great time. Chop it up. So I'll post a Rumble link in the chat over here. Let's have a great stream, man. Rumble. Okay, here's a Rumble link in the live stream chat. Come join me on Rumble. There you go. He says here, many of the top clubs are owned by is that Haitians? What, black people? You're telling me that many of the top clubs in Taipei are run by black Haitian people? So there's Haitians in Taiwan? Tony dropping game. Shout out to our Haitian brothers. Haiti. But I'm gonna give you 2-3 more minutes. I want everyone on Rumble. Tony, did you see black men with good looking young Taiwanese women? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, dark skinned black men. Come join me on Rumble. Here's a Rumble link in the live stream chat. 2 more minutes. Yeah, there's a let's see over here. Yeah, there's a big population of black men from an African country. It's Swaziland. Okay. Brother, do you see Taiwanese women with black men, dark skinned black men, good looking Taiwanese chicks? All right, brother. 1 more minute. I'm gonna end the stream on YouTube. We're gonna be on Rumble. Okay. The Aboriginal woman, brother. I'm asking you, right? I'm not talking about, but I'm not talking about Aboriginal woman. All right. I'm talking about ethnic Taiwanese Chinese woman. Did you see young, good looking 21, 22, 20, 23, 24, 25 Chinese Taiwanese women with dark skinned black men in Taiwan? I'm not talking about Aboriginal woman, brother. What the hell? Ah, Lord. I'm not talking about no Aboriginal chicks. I'm talking about ethnic Chinese Taiwanese chicks. Brother, Rumble, 30 more seconds are going to be on Rumble. Okay. I'm probably seeing 1 or 2 girls every day. Yeah, Tony, reach out to me on IG, brother. Let's have a talk about Taiwan. Um, I need more intel. That's not true, Aaron. That's not true. That's not true. I like dark skinned women as well. That's not true, bro. Um, but it's just Taiwan, bro. And they're not dark. The women, they're obviously fair skin. Uh, it's got nothing to do with um, Aboriginal woman. I know a dark-skinned brother who's living in Taiwan has a beautiful girlfriend. Interesting. All right, let's go over to Rumble. Okay. Got some things I want to react to on Rumble. So let me get some water. I'll join you in a bit. Okay, so let me end the streams on Kick, and the streams on Twitch, Facebook, and you're on YouTube.